Good evening and welcome to News 360, coming to you live from the studios here at Adesanwe in Accra. We're also streaming worldwide via the internet on 3news.com with live updates on our social media platforms. My name is Solace Roseporte.
And my name is Alfredo Conce. Remember, we're live on DSTV channel 279. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by...
Now, the Director of Research Foreign Intelligence at the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Ambassador Rashid Seydou Inusa, takes over as new BNI Director.
Also, Deputy General Secretary of Opposition NDC, Koku Anyidoho, released after being granted bail.
Now, political historian Professor Nana Esilfi Konja describes as unnecessary the name change of the seat of government from Flagstaff House to House.
And President Akufo-Addo assures Ghanaians of government's resolve to promote rule of law and respect for individual liberties and human rights.
And on the international front this evening, Russia expels 60 U.S. diplomats and closes the country's St. Petersburg consulate in response to U.S. action over a spy poisoning case in the UK.
Bring you details of these plus some sports and entertainment news tonight here on News 360. Remember, we're live on channel 279. Feel free to share your thoughts with us as we go on the bulletin. But the first story tonight, the government has announced changes at the Bureau of National Investigations, BNI. A statement signed by Information Minister Mustafa Hamid indicated that the president has with immediate effect appointed Ambassador Rashid Seydou Inusa, Director General of the Research and Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration as the Director of the Bureau of National Investigations, BNI. Peter Nyako Opata, Deputy Director General of the Research Department, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, is now the Director General of the Research Department, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. And William Kwesi Appiah, Director of the Bureau of National Investigations, that's BNI, has been reassigned to the Ministry of National Security. Earlier, reports suggested that Mr. Appiah was sacked after a meeting held on Thursday. But according to National Security Minister Albert Kandapa, the move was part of a number of changes at the BNI and the National Security Ministry. So that's what's happened now, and the press statement signed by Mustafa Hamid confirming. I've been joined in the studio by a man who understands this whole security situation. Adam Bona is the CEO of the Security Warehouse and the Security Analyst. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Mr. Bona. Great. Now, what do you make of this move? A good move, you say?
Yeah, it's a very good move. I mean, I'm sure I've been on your network severally, and one of the things I have always talked about has to do with lack of intelligence. I mean, officers on the ground gathering intelligence. And if you know why the BNI was set up, it was set up to be able to sniff out information from the grassroots, go to the community, get information, complement what the police is doing to be able to fight crime. And this day and age of terrorism, if you realize the small arms, the small explosives that were found in, Odoko area, these are some of the things we expect the Bureau of National Investigations to be doing. We expect them to have been to help complement Operation Vanguard, for instance. They are supposed to be there, going into the pit and helping identify the kingpins of what you call it.
So what you're saying that they are not executing the mandate in full?
No, probably they haven't executed it. I don't want to say, probably about 10% of what they are supposed to be doing. That is how serious it is. If you realize, recently the police, had a lot of bashing here and there for not being able to fight crime. But the police alone cannot fight crime without, intelligence. And it is a reason you realize that the moment the IGP did his reshuffle and introduced the intelligence directorate headed by, Yohunu and his people, they have been able to arrest almost all the bad guys.
It's interesting you make this point, but there are people who also hold the opinion that the announcement, and the timing of the announcement feeds into or creates a fertile ground for a lot of speculation, especially considering what has been happening over the last 48 hours. And then this afternoon, just when Koko Anyidoho is granted bail, we hear of this announcement. Could it have been done at any other time than this?
I don't want to feed into the conspiracy theory. I mean, I don't want to do that. But the truth is that when it comes to security, intelligence, and fighting crime, changes, you could do changes in the night. You could do it during the day. You could do it at dawn. You could do it at any time. And so as far as I'm concerned, I believe that these changes would, I mean, we've got to pat the president and, you know, the Minister of National Security. If you realize, when the National Security, that ministry was created, that has reduced the incidence of having the BNI and national security going after political opponents. We haven't had that in this current dispensation. It used to be, you know, that terrible. And so I want to say that I don't want to say that is what happened. It could be coincidental, but this is something that I wouldn't want to.
Let me just say that we've been speaking to Albert Kanakpa off air, and he's explained to us that this reshuffle or these changes had nothing to do with what's happening with Koko Anyidoho over the last 48 hours. As a matter of fact, Akwesi Appiah, man in question who has been reassigned, was out of the country on official duties in the United States of America, and so he returned yesterday, and so it had nothing to do with the former President John Mahama visiting Koko at the BNI cells yesterday. But what are your expectations of this new BNI boss, considering the fact that you say they've been performing under 10% of their mandate?
Yes, my expectations are that they would help complement the police, they would help complement Operation Vanguard, they would help complement, what do you call it, Operation Calm Life. They would, you know, go on the ground and do what they have to do. BNI of 30 years ago, even under, former President Mahama, you remember they went under this sting operation where former national service directors were, you know, kind of arrested for indulging in one malpractice or the other. Right. But for a couple of years now, I have not really seen them do that much. And so my expectations are that they would go into the pits, the Galamsey pits, dressed like you know, pretending to be digging, you know, diamonds and gold, and being able to give us information to fight organized crime, because Galamsey is organized crime. The kind of armed robbery we are having is organized crime. Terrorism, organized crime. And so that is the mandate of the BNI and national security. Now we've been able to reduce the incident of, you know, national security and BNI going after political opponents. We want to see the other mandate being done. Being
executed. Thank you so much, Mr. Zona. Grateful. Adam Bona is security analyst with the CEO of the Security Warehouse. Join us on this. But the embattled Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Koko Anyidoho, has been granted bail. As a matter of fact, he is at home now, but he spent 2 nights in the custody of the Bureau of National Investigations, BNI, after he was arrested by the police on Tuesday for alleged treasonable comments.
Koko Anyidoho was arrested on Tuesday, having failed to secure his release on Tuesday and Wednesday. His legal team, together with some top NDC members, were at the offices of the Bureau of National Investigation to secure his release on Thursday. His father, Major General Henry Kwame Anyidoho, was also at the BNI office together with another lawyer to stand in as sureties for his release. National Vice Chairman of Osu Ampofo and some party bigwigs had gone to the police headquarters as part of efforts to secure the party's Deputy General Secretary's release.
When we realized that it was past 4, you know, there was so much agitation at our party headquarters. And so we had to speak to the media and let the authorities know that if they don't release him by the close of day, we cannot guarantee what will happen, because the temperature in the party office was boiling up, and we couldn't contain the anger of our people. So we are happy that at long last he's been released. He's confirmed, we've spoken with him. We believe that we are law-abiding citizens, and we believe that the laws of this country stipulate that no one can be kept beyond 48 hours. And our lawyers were there to ensure that the laws are complied with. And they gave us the assurance. As for going up and coming down, I mean, this is our party issue. This is a Ghana issue.
You're still watching News 360 live from the News Hub at Adesanwe. Let's still stay with the story. And the national organizer of the National Democratic Congress, Kofi Adams, says the party will continue to fight against what he described as the display of injustice by the Akufo-Addo's government. Speaking after the release of the Deputy General Secretary, Koku Anyidoho, at the party headquarters, he asked government to concentrate on fulfilling its promise than pursuing what he says is not in the interest of the country.
The release of the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC was welcoming news for the party. The national organizer of the NDC gave the indication the NDC will not end its fight against injustice.
We in NDC will not stop in speaking about the wrong that this government and President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his Vice President Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia are visiting on this country and continue to visit on the country. Indeed, we are even more emboldened to continue to raise the wrongs, and we are going to continue doing it. We will fight and speak against this occupation of foreign forces in our land.
The first deputy national chairman of the party, Samuel Ofosu Ampofo, charged government to be focused in fulfilling its promises.
All what Nana Akufo-Addo can do is to change names and not build any legacy for himself. 1.5 years into his tenure, nothing is happening. Even the filth in Accra, they cannot collect it. It is not about changing names. It is about they fulfilling their promises of one district, one factory.
Some party sympathizers also expressed their views.
The people of Ghana has given him power to transform our lives. We are not saying transform our sleeping places for the words that we speak. He has been an apostle of freedom of speech.
Student loans have not been paid. You get it? Lecturers were sacking students, and everybody was angry. Has the government focused on that? Why did everything free SHS? And instead of them to do necessary things, they are rather subjecting the people into unnecessary hardships.
Well, Samuel Ofosu referred to that particular decision to rename the Flagstaff House of Jubilee House. But political historian Professor Nana Esilfi-Kondua has described as unnecessary the name change of the seat of government. The Akufo-Addo administration has renamed the Flagstaff House Jubilee House through an executive order.
Flagstaff House was the headquarters of the British military in the colonial days. It later became the seat of government in the days of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But that building was pulled down and the current edifice put up by the Kufuor administration to mark Ghana's 50th anniversary, hence the name Jubilee House. But upon assumption of office, the Mills government in 2009 reverted the name to Flagstaff House. The second year in the Akufo-Addo administration, the seat of government has been renamed Jubilee House. Even during the electioneering and after taking office, the name Jubilee House continued to be part of President Akufo-Addo's verbal fingerprints, making the change not surprising. At about 6 a.m. on Thursday, March 29, workers were busily replacing the Flagstaff House signage with that of Jubilee House. A statement signed by the president noted there was no record to indicate the renaming of the presidency as Flagstaff House by the late former president Evans Atta Mills in exercise of his executive authority. But political historian Nana Esilfi-Kondua says the move is unnecessary.
I've commented and said that it's not necessary. And indeed, I've gone to the extent of writing to recommend a way out, i.e. that call it Jubilee House in Flagstaff House, or call it Jubilee Palace in Flagstaff House. That, I think, would have sufficed and satisfied to calm down the political protest this is bound to raise. That you have to keep your history. And if you are in the habit of removing or obliterating all your historical landmarks, you stand to be told that your country does not exist.
He said government's action could be a political diversionary tactic.
Perhaps this strategy is a neophyte. It wasn't done so. That was not a sudden thing that you wake up in the morning and find, hey, there's this change noticeable. If you find there's nothing wrong with what you are doing as a government, the people must be informed. But you haven't done that. That means that having done it, quote, perhaps secretly, means that you know that there's something the matter wrong with what you're doing.
So, if what many political watchers have described as a political football between the NPP and NDC does not end, then certainly this will not be the last renaming of Ghana's seats of government. Already, many are questioning why Ghana cannot emulate the US White House, UK number 10 Downing Street, which have remained unchanged as names for their seats of governments.
Now, still on this issue, the Communications Director at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, has explained the name Flagstaff House still remains on the old colonial seat of government. Thus, the renaming Jubilee House is to reflect the modern edifice and that's constructed by the John Kufuor administration. Now, speaking to the Presidential Press Corps, Eugene Ahin revealed the old Flagstaff House will soon serve as a historic and tourism facility.
Processes to change the name from the Flagstaff House to the Jubilee House started somewhere last year, and this has been going on for some time now. Today, it has come to stay that the name has been finally changed from the Flagstaff House to the Jubilee House. Although the Flagstaff House itself, originally built, is still within the premises of the Jubilee House. Nothing, according to government, has changed from that one. Director of Communications at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, told the media the change of name was to reflect the vision of former President John Kufuor, who supervised its reconstruction.
You go to countries like Hong Kong, most of the British colonies, they have buildings which they call Flagstaff House. So if we've gained independence, I mean, there's no point in we keeping a name that is symbolic of the colonial times. I mean, it wouldn't be right. And mostly the building that was constructed, as we see, this Jubilee House was built by President Kufuor, and he named it Jubilee House. So whatever be the case, we've just gone back to the original name that was given to the structure by the former President of the Republic, John Kufuor.
This has been the seat of government right from the beginning of the administration of this country during the era of Kwame Nkrumah, the first president, and it still remains safe. Eugene Ahin said the old Flagstaff House undergoing renovation will serve as a tourism site.
This building here, we've made it clear, the president has made it clear that it's going to be preserved for historic and tourism purposes. It's going to be preserved, and at least when you came, you saw the sign Flagstaff House right in front of the building. So this is Flagstaff House, but the seat of government from now would be Jubilee House.
From the Jubilee House, Nana Kwekwedia, TV3 News.
The NDC has already served notice that if they should come back to power, they will change this name. But I'm just hoping that our children will be spared of this historical circus we find ourselves in all the time. But Richard Anani sent this video from Bechem in the Bonahafo region. He reports on some abandoned dustbins for almost a year near the insurance office.
Reporting live from Bechem. Just want to take a look at this dustbins. It had been here for almost quite a long time, a year, and nothing seems to have done about it. Like, there seem to be no ties for these dustbins. Quite a number of them, say plenty of them, which has been lying for quite like a year since I saw it. So I just wanted to report this. Whose duty is this? To just make these corrections and to make them put to work and use. So, reporting live from wherever. Is it the fault of the Zoom Lion people or the district assembly or whichever?
So live on News 360, we're back with some business news. Do stay.
Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for us to venture into the world of business. And we'll start off from the banking sector, where the Chief Executive Officer of UMB, John Ewuah, has welcomed the Bank of Ghana's new Corporate Governance Directive, which seeks to define the roles of each member of a board, their tenure and age limits, and board structure, among others. Speaking to TV3 Business, he said the corporate governance guidance has come at a good time and will help raise standards in the banking sector.
The new Corporate Governance Policy Directive 2018 is part of reforms being introduced by the central bank in a bid to address poor corporate governance, which has bedeviled the banking sector. The new policy seeks to define the roles of each member of a board, their tenure and age limit, board structure, risk management and compensation, ethics and professionalism, among others. Chief Executive Officer of UNB lauded the regulator for the detailed and exhaustive document and is hopeful it will promote standards in the banking sector.
It is a good thing. We welcome it, should I say, hook, line and sinker to an extent, because of the positive connotation that it can give. We've already distributed to our key stakeholders. We've had a training program planned for all our directors and key stakeholders, our management. We want everybody in the institution to know that we want to be properly run.
On capping the tenure of managing directors and chief executive officers of financial institutions at a maximum of 12 years, split into 3 terms and not exceeding 4 years per term, he agreed the time limit was adequate.
They say familiarity breeds contempt. If you are sitting on one desk for many years, there's that possibility that you may take 1 or 2 things for granted. So setting some threshold to say that, okay, 12 years you should have done a lot of the things that you set out to do, and therefore it's time for somebody else to come in and, carry on from the good job that you may have done. And I think it's fair.
He, however, called on the central bank to be open to suggestions and recommendations in areas which will require fine-tuning.
As we practicalize it, there may be areas that may face some few challenges and would need some fine-tuning. And I'm sure the regulator will be open to suggestions and potentially, if there are strong recommendations for amendments as the execution mode is setting.
Good corporate governance has been identified as one of the solutions to Ghana's current banking sector crisis.
Now, the Millennium Development Authority, MIDA, has denied reports that the EDFCH group pulled out of the bid for ECG concession due to inadequate information provided about the financial state or the power distributor. Now, CEO of MIDA, Martin Esson Benjamin, speaking exclusively with TV3 Business, said all the companies were privy to the same information.
Meralco Electric Company from the Philippines, CH Group Ghana with EDF and Viola SA, and BSC Company Ghana Limited, registered and operating in Ghana, were expected to submit their proposals for the final bidding process of the concession by March 26, 2018. But MIDA, in a press release on Monday, noted that BSC and Meralco were the 2 companies which had met the deadline for the submission of proposals for the concession. There were reports that EDF had pulled out due to lack of data on the performance and financials of ECG, but CEO of MIDA, Martin Esson Benjamin, disagrees.
If ECG has not had its reported accounts ready, it's not ready. They are not ready. And MIDA might feel very bad about it, but they are not ready. But the others took what was available, did extrapolations, went around, did their due diligence, asked questions, and were able to assume, certain positions and use that to put their financials together.
He is optimistic any of the 2 companies selected can transform the ECG.
They were assessed. So for us, our mandate is to work with the pre-qualified bidders. Now, if you argue that the pre-qualified bidders are not good enough, then there's a problem. Let's say they all passed and they all supposed to be capable of managing. They should be able to manage. And therefore, I cannot sit here at this moment and start undermining the people who have been pre-qualified to do a job, except somebody has additional information which I don't have.
Government in 2014 signed the Ghana Power Compact with the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, an independent USA government foreign aid agency, which provides the country a grant of $498.2 million to improve the performance of Ghana's power sector. The major project under the compact is the ECG Financial and Operational Turnaround Project, that is designed to transform ECG into an efficient and financially strong institution through private sector participation. About $351 million of the MCC grant is being invested in ECG.
Now, MTN has presented 4 brand new Hyundai Saloon cars to the third set of winners in the MTN 4G Taking Over promotion in Accra. 200,000 other prizes, including 8 more Hyundai Saloon cars, are up for grabs in the promotion, which ends on April 30.
Entered at the third draw of the MTN 4G Taking Over promotion. The promotion is a user-driven point-based system designed to reward all MTN pay-as-you-go as well as pay monthly customers, both existing and new ones, who are MTN 4G LTE users. Once these two conditions are satisfied, such a customer will qualify at the end of each promo month based on points accrued on brand usage.
So 4G Taking Over promo is meant to say thank you to all our loyal customers who are on the MTN 4G network. The promo is made in such a way that anytime you spend a peso on voice, MTN gives you 1 point. Anytime you spend a peso on data, MTN gives you 2 points. Anytime you spend a peso on mobile money transaction, based on the commission charged, MTN will give you 2 points. So at the end of the month, we rank the points accrued from the highest to the lowest. And to ensure fairness and transparency in all our dealings, we have a promotion external auditor called KPMG. They always certify that the results are genuine and fair.
He congratulated the winners and encouraged customers who are non-users of 4G to sign on to it and be part of the 4G Taking Over promo.
We are giving away 20 brand new Hyundai cars. We have 2-bedroom Defteco house, 1 unit. Then we have about 400,000 Ghana cedis mobile money to be given out. We have over 100 iPhones, over 80 pieces of Samsung 8. Then about 200,000 customers could also win various items, including airtime.
Miran, Mustafa and Frederick Obiansari are proud winners of Hyundai Saloon cars.
It's really a happy feeling to win a Hyundai item. My brother told me to take a chance, that the promo that they do, it's real.
I did not believe it, though I had seen others win. When MTN called me and I came for the car, then I believed it.
The 4G Taking Over promotion ends on April 30 and the last draw held in May this year.
And to some other stories, the Debt Management Compliance and Recovery Unit at the Ghana Revenue Authority has closed down Africa Cargo Central Limited in Tema over a tax default between 2013 to 2016. The company owes the state 2.3 million Ghana cedis, which includes income tax, withholding tax and value-added tax.
According to Chief Revenue Officer in charge of recovery at the Debt Management Compliance Unit of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Yao John Boabing, Africa Central Cargo, a clearing agency at Tema, refused to show commitment in paying the debt owed to the state. He indicated after an audit between 2013 and 2016, a tax liability letter was served the company, after which it was given several opportunities which they failed to take advantage of.
They owe the GRA 2.3 million Ghana cedis. VAT is involved, the company's income tax is involved, and then withholding taxes, which also includes PAYE. Within 10 days, he would have to respond. If he does not respond, we would have to proceed and forward the case to the legal department.
Well, that's how we wrap up business news here on News 360 tonight. You can catch up with some more business news on our website, 3news.com. Over to you, Alfred, for more news updates.
Thank you, Solis, for business. Now, President Akufo-Addo has reiterated government's resolve to invest in the skills and development of the youth to promote an efficient human resource for the country, launching the Forum 2018 of the Heads of State Award Scheme at the Jubilee House. The president promised to resource the scheme to reach out to some 500,000 youth by 2020.
The Head of State Award Scheme supports and challenges young people to develop their knowledge, skill and values to live and work in a globalized economy and to contribute responsibly both locally and internationally. The scheme, also known as the Duke of Edinburgh's Award Scheme, holistically trains young people to take up tasks which will provide social structure to develop practical and soft skills required to make them responsible and patriotic citizens in society.
The award scheme as a framework has been designed to inspire and recognize the contributions and achievements of our youth and to prepare them for even greater duties and responsibilities. The award continues to ignite the passions of young people, engages them with leisure time activities to develop themselves and their communities.
President Akufo-Addo said shaping the future of the youth is the surest way of building a solid human resource base.
Formal or academic learning, which is not grounded in solid foundations of morality and sense of civic duty, can render our young people unfit to take up their positions as patriotic future citizens and leaders of our country. Beyond formal education, opportunities for communal involvement can further enhance character formation and development. And this is what the Head of State Award Scheme offers.
The occasion coincided with the President's 75th birthday celebration.
And 2 and 1, and we say hip hip, hip hip.
All right, a very happy birthday to the President of Ghana. Still on him, President Akufo-Addo has assured Ghanaians of the government's commitment to promote the rule of law and respect for individual liberties and human rights. In his Easter message, the president expressed government's resolve to ensure that social justice and the principles of accountability are upheld.
We are ensuring the realization of fundamental requirements of social justice and solidarity. We're looking past commodities to position our country in the global marketplace. We're determined to free our people from a mindset of dependence, aid, charity, and handout.
He noted Ghanaians should celebrate Easter with the mindset that the country is on a path of prosperity.
Let us celebrate Easter as a real source of hope, that there is a brighter future ahead of us. Let us use this Easter celebration to renew and strengthen our faith in God and to be confident that with God's guidance, we can transform our nation and use all the blessings that the Almighty has bestowed on us to bring progress and prosperity to all our people.
You're still watching News 360. We'll take a breather. We'll return shortly with more news. Don't go away.
Welcome back. Let's now go for some international news.
Russia has expelled 60 U.S. diplomats and closed the country's St. Petersburg consulate in response to U.S. action over a spy poisoning case in the U.K. The moves were announced by the Russian foreign minister. It comes amid a row over the nerve agent attack on a former Russian spy and his daughter in southern England. Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia were found unconscious on a bench in the city of Salisbury in Wiltshire on March 4. More than 20 countries have expelled Russian envoys in solidarity with the UK, which has blamed Moscow for the attack. Prosecutors say former French President Nicolas Sarkozy is to face trial for corruption and influence peddling. The case centers on an alleged attempt by Mr. Sarkozy to get a judge to reveal information about an investigation into illegal funding of his 2007 campaign. The judge and Mr. Sarkozy's lawyer have also been ordered to stand trial. They have all denied wrongdoing. In a separate case, the ex-president is accused of receiving funding from the late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. Kenyan opposition figure Miguna says he was beaten and dragged before being forcibly removed from the country for a second time. The deportation came hours after a court held top officials in contempt for failing to release him from the airport where he was being held. Kenyan officials have argued the lawyer who holds dual Canadian nationality is not a citizen. But Mr. Miguna, who was flown to Dubai, says their motives are political.
There's more news on 3news.com. We'll be back shortly with some more news here on News 360. Do stay.
All right, so good evening. It's now time for some entertainment and lifestyle news brought to you by Vodafone. Power to you and FanMax. Fuel your day. My name is Nana Kwedrado, and now we told you that we're bringing you something great this weekend. It's all about the Onua FM Easter JKT celebration, and the main act for the Easter Monday show was here this morning, and we caught up with him. TV3 Entertainment, we found out something beautiful and something nice from Kitty. Take a listen.
But I got so much love to give you. I got so much love to give you. Oh, na, 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 na. I bless the day.
Easter for me is all about the death of Christ, the betrayal by Judas, yes. The death of Christ basically and the resurrection. Yeah. So you know what he had to go through for you to pay for your sins and to make sure you are redeemed and you have salvation. So whatever you are going through in life, you have to know that Jesus loves you and he came to die for your sins. Yeah, I'm actually waiting for them to finish celebrating and killing Jesus. When Jesus is resurrected, I'll give them new music.
What's up, guys? People of JKT. On the 2nd April, Easter Monday, the only place you need to be is the lakeside. Charlie must say like that. I'm coming to sprinkle love and sugar inside JKT. Let's have an amazing time. It's your boy Kitty. Say you love me. Let's go.
Okay, so if you say you love me, you have to do that dance from Kitty right there. And you would have to meet us inside JKT this weekend. And he's on Easter Monday. But on the road to JKT, I stopped by to meet some monkeys once again. And you have to join us this weekend to JKT. Alfred is standing by for that. But let's see what happens or how JKT really looks like. You can stop by the road anytime you are heading towards Atimpoko or Akosombo on this stretch, and you can, have some fun with the monkeys. Just give them some bananas or groundnuts or any other thing that you feel. They are friendly monkeys, and of course they are not here to harm you. So I'm standing right in the center of JKT, a town in the Akwemuman district, and was founded in 1710, named after one Openyin Jan. and he lived at a place called Kitty, and so they called the name Jekiti. Join me on a trip to the beach side, or popularly known as the lakeside. Don't go anywhere and experience nothing, but come to Onua FM's Jekiti Easter, Jekiti Edumasa, Jena, Akosombo, Atimpoku. Every surrounding town is going to be here over the weekend to experience that agenda. So what? I am going to be here once again, and I'm urging you to come and join us. My name is Nana Kwejuado, Jekiti. All right, so Alfred is excited about Asempa sitting behind me and paddling the boat. The boat was a static boat, but we are going to be on a better cruise when you come to Jekiti and you join us. But still in the Ghana month, one of my favorite music duo of all time, Tego Sisters, we also caught up with them as part of the celebration, and they revealed some interesting information.
Comprising Lydia, Dede Yosin Tego, and Elizabeth Kokoi Tego, gospel music group was formed in the early 80s. The acclaimed gospel brand recorded their debut album titled Nyame Ekese back in 1987.
At that time, you see, there was a lot of chaos in the house. My mom and my siblings were not agree with what we are doing. Right. But one day they called a meeting, and then there was a whole lot of confusion in the house. And Kaka raised her hand. He said, "Mommy, can I say something?" And all my siblings were there, got it.
Kakra, what did you say?
I said to my mom, "Mommy, I know what we have is just by God's grace, and it's a gift of God, and we want to develop it and then do it for Him." And everybody was like, "We yare, badam, because they believe that music is nothing."
It's been over 3 decades of inspiring generations with their spirit-filled songs, and the Tego Sisters have not looked back. Along the line came major hits, which further endeared Tego Sisters to Ghanaians. It's been an exciting year so far for the award-winning group. Tego Sisters have crisscrossed the length and breadth of Ghana and beyond, spreading the gospel through their music.
We with Reverend Francis Akusiamwaku late, and we traveled to London. Okay. That is our first album, Nyame Ekese. Okay. And when we came to Ghana, Nyame Ekese was a bomb.
Wow.
Yeah. And
no payola.
No payola. Oh, that's no payola. No payola at all. I mean, when I'm coming, like if I know you are playing my song, right, traveling outside, coming back to Ghana, I'll buy you a nice shirt and your tie. When you wear them, you remember me. When I give you money, you finish eating it. You won't even remember that I give you money. That's true. That's what we've been doing.
That's appreciated.
The gifted duo have remained relevant even after 30 years in the music scenes. What keeps them going?
All right, so that was Elizabeth and Lydia Tego. For those of you who don't know, they are cousins to Theophilus Tego, Castro. I mean, yes, but he is no longer with us. But Alfred, that's about it for entertainment and lifestyle news.
Yeah,
definitely hands down one of the best.
What's the name of the dance that Kiddy was doing?
Yeah, that's the new dance. Like,
no, he does that a lot, and then he raises one leg.
It's become a dance. Funny. It's kind of trendy.
It's his thing, yeah.
It's like that.
It's like call me. I don't know, but you can,
Anyway.
thank you very much
Well,
for staying tuned
but
to
you're
News
coming to
360.
Yeah. Tomorrow, all roads leads to JKT.
I don't know about that.
But my name is Alfred.
I'll watch from afar, but you guys should bring out all the, the good news. It's all for News 360 once again. My name is Solace Rose Corte.
You have a good night. My name is Alfred Okansi.